Hello and welcome to the Savvy Corner. If you're new here, my name is Alisa and I make money-related videos covering personal and business finances, financial well-being and money mindset. If you like this type of content and you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. I'd love for you to join the Savvy Corner community. Speaking of the community, some of you have asked me to do some more videos that are business-related, and I am very happy to oblige. So today we will talk about setting KPIs or key performance indicators for your business. Not just any KPIs, but meaningful ones. I'll start with a general introduction on KPIs, then we will discuss what a meaningful KPI is and finish with some examples. So let's jump straight in. Studies show that businesses which set KPIs and measure them regularly are more likely to hit their business goals, to meet their growth targets, and generally perform better than businesses which ignore KPIs or don't measure and act upon them. So, what is a KPI and why is it important? KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator, and it is a measurement of how your business, a department, a team, or a project is performing in relation to an objective. You cannot measure KPIs in isolation. They have to be linked to a goal or an objective, which is usually a strategic one. Which is why it's so important to make the distinction between a KPI and a PI, which is a performance indicator, also known as a metric. The difference between KPIs and metrics is that metrics measure activities which do not directly influence the strategic objectives of a business. The number of visitors on your website, for example, is a metric, but if your business goals are to increase your profit by X%, then it's not necessarily a KPI because it doesn't directly influence your profit. A more appropriate KPI might be month-on-month sales growth, assuming that you keep your costs proportionally the same. KPIs are important because if they are clearly defined and well chosen, they will show you and your team exactly what you need to focus on and what you can afford to ignore, as well as highlight problems in time for you to adapt your activity and maximize the chances of meeting the business goal you want to reach. Before we talk about the meaningful KPIs for your business, there are some attributes I want to mention that any good KPI must have, and these are simple, measurable, actionable, timely, and visible. You want your business KPIs to be easy to understand and calculate and easy to accurately measure. It also helps if you and your team know exactly how you can influence this KPI and what are the day-to-day actions that you need to take to do so. You want to check KPIs often enough that you can make decisions to alter the course of action if necessary, but not so often that you or your team get overwhelmed by it. And speaking of overwhelm, beware of setting too many KPIs. Usually between 6 and 8 KPIs for the entire business is enough. Remember the key aspect of a KPI, only measuring what directly influences your business goals. The rest are just metrics. Okay, let's talk about setting meaningful KPIs for your business. Some of the mistakes many businesses make are not to link their KPIs to strategy and measure what everyone else is measuring. In order to set meaningful KPIs, you must first ask yourself these two questions. 1, what is my main business goal? And 2, how will I know that I have achieved it? Once you can answer these questions, you are in a good position to choose KPIs that are going to directly influence the results you are looking to generate in your business. I'd like to suggest that you don't do this exercise on your own. Involve your team or your heads of departments into the KPI setting process, not just because you need their buy-in, but because they might have valuable information that you might not have. They might be able to anticipate problems or simply have ideas that you didn't think of. Even if you are a one-man or one-woman band, involve a strategic partner into this activity. Whether it's your accountant or your coach, try as much as possible not to do this in isolation. Brainstorming ideas with someone else will help you and will bring in a fresh perspective. Alright, now let's look at some examples of KPIs. Now, I don't know what your business goals are, so these examples might apply to you or they might not. So please take them as inspiration rather than suggestions per se. The first example is in relation to profitability. You can calculate your gross profit margin and track the month-on-month growth if your business goal is to increase your profitability. You might be tempted to track revenue here, but be aware that this can be a vanity metric. Revenue growth can be an indicator of the financial performance of a company, but in my opinion, you need to look at profitability as well to have a complete picture. Which takes me to the second example, which is the cost of acquisition per customer. Even if your revenue is growing, it might be that your costs are increasing in a disproportional way. So keeping an eye on costs makes sense, but in this example, you want to look at how much it costs to acquire a new client and even go a step further and calculate the profitability per customer. You can also look at profitability per type of product or per type of service sold. If you have an online business, the attrition rate, or how many customers have left in a given period of time, is another example of a KPI you might want to measure. Attrition or dropout is common with subscription-based business models. And in relation to this, you can also calculate the retention rate or the repeat business rate amongst your customers. Another example is to calculate the ROI or return on investments for certain areas of your business. If you recently decided to amplify your marketing efforts following a goal to expand or to pivot your business, then marketing content ROI can be a KPI you choose to monitor. Now, not every KPI needs to be financial. Some of them are in relation to you or your team. Let's say that you have a coaching business and you want to grow that business. One of the KPIs you might wish to measure is your or your team's conversion rate. Out of 100 sales conversations, how many translate into paying clients? You can see that there are numerous examples of KPIs you can set depending on what you want to achieve in your business. Again, if this is an option for you, don't do this exercise on your own. Have someone you trust do it with you. 2 or more heads are better than one. Whatever KPIs you choose to monitor though, they will do nothing for your business if you don't regularly review and act on the insights you get from this review. Otherwise, you will have wasted your time and this will just be an intellectual exercise, and that's not the point of setting KPIs. So take time to review and adapt regularly. And that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was useful for you. If that's the case, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more similar content. Speaking of similar content, the 2 videos you see suggested on the screen have been carefully selected for you to help you better manage your money and your mind around it. So go check them out if you've got the time. That's it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!